welcome back to my channel. If you guys see another video or two of me in this clothes, I promise I'm clean. It's a nice day out, so I am knocking out quite a few videos today. So, can't really show you what's on the other side. Obviously, when I'm working this one, you guys will get to see it, but I'm not sure which video is going out first. As you can see, we have the saddle. And we also have the bridle. You guys will see me working with Avalon today. I have the bridle in case she's doing really good and I feel like I can get on her. And I think I'm going to take baby steps if I do go to get on her today. I think I'm going to do like you would when you're starting a colt and just mount and dismount a few times to see how she's handling that. Also see Kamani being tied on the patience pole. She has been there since I grabbed Avalon and filmed the other video. So about an hour. But she's been setting back a lot. So I thought it'd be really good for her while I had Avalon out of the pasture and where they couldn't see each other but they could hear each other. Had Avalon tied while I did my other video with her and just left Kamani in here. She's been calling out, so she needs this anyways. You'll also see the feeders outside because it is Tuesday and we are supposed to have great weather until next Tuesday. So it's mean 70s and 80s. So I decided, you know what, let's get them out of the shelter, which obviously they can still come back in here if they need to. But let's get the feeders out of the shelter and just put the feeders out in the pasture. And I'll pull my truck in and drop 2 bales in each feeder when I'm done with Avalon. They just ran out of hay this morning, so perfect timing. And then this next week, they can just eat out in the sunshine. Hey everyone, welcome back. So we're going to start off with some backing today. And unfortunately, at the end, my phone cut out, but I do like a little update on at the end of what happened. But I do leave the sound in here quite a bit today because, so Avalon's normally very speedy and is very hard to slow down. And you can see there, she's not really wanting to move out. Now, I'm wanting her to move out because of the last video that you guys seen of her, so I don't want to take any risks and maybe she's being a little bit lazy, so I don't move her out. I get on her, and then something goes wrong. So I do have my short whip again before anybody freaks out that I'm hitting her. I am hitting the ground. It is like half the size of my leg. She's on a 15-foot line. I guarantee I'm not hitting her. I cannot reach her with this. But it was very, very warm this day. And I'm pretty sure I got heat stroke. Because by the end of it, I was so sick. It was insane. So here I'm just kind of showing you guys how she's moving out, and I like that she's actually, when I get her going, she is moving out, but she's not tense and tight like she was in that last video that you guys seen of her. She's being very responsive with the turns at this point in stage. Nice stop there, but I do want her to stop with her butt further out. She tried to come forward there, which is why I backed her out. So here we get a little bit of friskiness, but it's nothing bad. It's nothing like last time. So I'm going to leave her alone for that. Nice canter there. She's holding this pretty well. She's like, oh, I better change. So you can see there she dropped her pace. Asked her again, she went right into it. This day, she actually dropped her pace quite a bit, which was a little interesting if you guys seen the last video, how she was just speeding around. But she's got some beautiful turns this time. Dropped her pace, asking her to speed back up. She did it well that time. Here's where it gets interesting. So she didn't want to change. So I bump her, let her run into that halter, and ask her again, and I slowed it down for you. So I ask her to change. She thinks about it, decides nope, she doesn't want to. So I pull on that lead rope, let her bump into that halter, and ask again, and then she goes. Now, she does it again here in a second when we change direction. Again, she does it. Same thing here. So when she does that, and she continues on and ignores me, I'm just going to bump her and let her run into that halter pressure. So, you notice quick, easy correction, and there, that was right after that turn. She just figured out, oh, I better turn. Eventually, I am going to be working on stopping her and sending her out the same exact way we were already going, because she was getting to the point where I barely take a step if I trip and she changes, which is good, but it's not, because it's not what I'm asking. So here we're going back and just tapping on the saddle again. And you can see she's handling it much better this time. She's a little nervous, her head's high, her ears are back, but she is not as bad and flighty as she was the last video. And this side, I don't even think she cared. I think she honestly just didn't care. Okay, so after she got a break, I went in a halter and lead rope and just practiced getting on and off a few times just to make sure. She had 4 months off, and then I rode her a couple times, and then she had 2 months off for the ulcer treatment, so I am just being cautious. I'm just in a halter and lead rope, just seeing how she's gonna do with me getting up, just because it's been 2 months. And she flexed very nicely, but I didn't have the lead rope over her head, so I wasn't going to flex her the other way. You'll see I let go. Now, she looks like she's flexing herself. That's what I thought at first. That's why I was laughing. But you can see me pulling on her here. She grabbed my saddle strings, started chewing on them again. So she had to be tied without the saddle after her session. But what is with... Why is she destroying my saddle? Here's where things got a little difficult. My saddle pad slipped a little bit. So I left the sound, and you can hear me asking and asking and asking for the canter. Again, my whip is short. I am not hitting her. I'm hitting the ground. But I didn't want to, after fixing the saddle pad, just snug her right back up. So I'm just lunging her a little bit so I can tighten up that girth again. And it's just getting to the point where she's kind of ignoring what I'm asking. So I will weave in some of that so you guys can see how much I'm having to get after her now. Now, normally I wouldn't. I like her head going down right there. It's kind of interesting. Normally I wouldn't mind her wanting to slow down because she's such a busybody, but I'm trying to get to where I can tighten up the girth so I can get on. So I had to get her to move out this time. I love how soft she is to flex here. You guys will get to see that. I love that because she's normally not that soft. I don't even have a hold of her and she's still keeping her head in. So that's a really, really good thing. You'll see here I pick up and she just brings her head right in. We did both sides. So here I got on, flexed her both sides. Let her stand there for a minute. And then I asked her to draw back instead of just walking off. I don't want to always just walk off. Sometimes I'll draw them backwards. Sometimes I'll side pass them. I always change it up so they never know what direction we're going. And that was good right there. Okay, so I'm just going to ask her to walk on a little bit. And we did have some, like I said, we had progress today. That was a nice stop right there. And as soon as I stop my horses, I like to back them up and get their head nice and down. So that's what we're going to work on every time we stop. Again, I left the sound in so you could hear my cues of telling her whoa and sitting in my seat. Along with, if she doesn't after that, then I kind of draw her back a little bit. Because I'm really wanting her to use her butt when she stops. And backing them up right when you stop teaches them to use their butt. So unfortunately, after a few minutes, my phone cut off. But it looks like you guys got a couple clips of what we were starting to do, and I'll explain that in a second. So nice trot here. She's actually going at a pretty good pace. I'm trying not to touch on her mouth. Beautiful stop there. I love how her ears go forward, and she's paying attention. So here you can hear me asking for canter with my voice, and she just keeps taking her head clear down. And I don't like that, so I pick up on her and make her back up, and then we continue on at the trot. Because I'm not going to push it. I wasn't feeling good, and I just don't want to push it and make things worse. So I'm just trying to get her to back up a little straighter there. And there, we got that fixed. So here's kind of what we were starting to do when my phone cut off. And we did this for about 10 minutes or so. So I'm trotting her in the circle and then asking for a halt, or I'm trotting her in the circle and I'll randomly look, nice stop there, in the other direction at the circle and have her cross over to that part and then go the other way around the circle. And it slowed her pace pretty nicely, but unfortunately I got a phone call, my phone got shut off, so right here is the last clip that it got before my phone decided to shut off. Well, I guess that's part of filming, ain't it? My phone cut off at the good part and the bad part. So I guess I'll just kind of fill you guys in. We were going around the circle that I had lunged her on, and we were just working on light rain contact and her turning off of my body. And she was in the beginning super stiff, biting me, speeding up. She finally slowed down and got super responsive, where I just turned my body and she was turning. And then at the end, she almost reared with me because she didn't want to continue trotting another circle or two. So I kind of worked with her a little bit on that, got her to trot a few more laps, and then we stopped. But yeah, I guess that's part of filming. I'm not going to redo it. I have a migraine and the heat is not helping. So yeah, I'm going to go untack her. That's the end of this video.